A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck and don't make 50 an hour. Even the mayor would have trouble buying a home in town now. Yeah, I've been saying it's gone back to the roots, all the way down. I was calling a lot of people, we're like grubs down at the roots, and it takes a lot of time for grubs to grow, and birds come and eat the grubs and things. It's gone back to the grub days for a lot of people when you're grubbing. And what? A young mayor like we have, that's common. You see, the most successful mayors are very much older. I knew a very successful mayor back in Florida. He was mayor since he was young, and then he grew older. And by the time he had white hair, he was in a very nice home. Glover and his wife sold their place in Kincardine a few years back and moved to the village of Tiverton, where he can see fireflies at night. Before the house was even listed, a buyer appeared out of the blue, offering to pay the couple $100,000 more than asking. A house there that sold for less than $300,000 in 2016 sells for almost $600,000 today. Real estate in the area has gone nuts, said Rick Clark, a retired high school principal but who moved to Kincardine with his wife, also a retired principal about 15 years ago. Rick Clark, a retired high school principal who does work for the Kincardine BIA. This picture was just recently taken on January 10th, 2022. He helps out with the local Business Improvement Association, and he likens Kincardine to a company town of yesteryear. That's what I love about Kincardine, Port Elgin, and Southampton. They're a modern, contemporary town, but they still have the benefits of yesteryear. On one hand, there's the engineer working for the company with a six-figure salary. On the other hand, there is the single mom working the cash register at the grocery store. Ringing through the engineer's order, as well as doing two other jobs just to cover her rent. That's assuming she can actually find a place that hasn't already been rented at a premium to a contractor doing work at Bruce Power. There is a good side to this and a bad side, Clark said. It all depends on who is paying your check. What outsiders often overlook amid the hurly-burly around Bruce Power is that there was life in the area long before the first two reactors came into service in 1977. I honestly had no idea what went on at Bruce Power or whatever until 18 months ago, local restaurateur Jennifer Christie said. She admires the power company's push to get its suppliers to establish local routes and contribute to the fabric of the region, but she bristles at the perception of the area pre-life extension program as a veritable economic dead zone. A veritable economic dead zone, populated by hillbillies and retirees scrimping their every penny. Christie's extended family has farmed in the region for 6 generations. Her parents, 1,500-acre mixed grain and dairy operation, is just southwest of the village of Tara. I've been to Tara. I believe that's just near Georgetown, outside of there somewhat. And Jim and Helen Christie are no hillbillies. Like many farmers, they surf on the cutting edge of an industry that has gone high-tech, strives for sustainability, and thrives on innovation, including using robots to milk their herd of 75 cows. I grew up on the farm, Christie said, noting she grew up with fall fairs, snowmobile clubs, community fundraisers, Legion Hall dances, and a high school teacher who encouraged her to go to university, work, and then, when the time came, bring the best of her experiences home to further enrich the place. And that's exactly what she has done. Lately, pivoting from a life as a lead marketer in Ottawa to buying a pretty red brick building on the main street in Paisley, population 1,000. She and her partner, Chef Chris Shaw, opened Bonfire on Queen in April 2020. They sling beef and prosciutto lasagna and other Italian delicacies featuring ingredients sourced from local farms. It is not only about Bruce Power around here, she said. But it is whenever you're using power. The Kincardine Lighthouse and Museum. We use power a lot these days. Anyways, I do. Some people don't. Some days I don't use any power, but even those days, you need power for your cell phones a lot of the time, your smartphones and whatnot. You're looking for somewhere to charge it. Christie is also involved in a regional business accelerator program geared to entrepreneurs. Peering into the future, she envisions a great mix of talents, be they nuclear engineers, local artists, heavy mechanics, organic farmers, small business owners, or all of the above. Exchanging ideas, trying new things, and building something metaphorically bigger than the power plant that powers the region. Her vision has a contagious quality to it. She truly believes that what it is happening today is a beginning. The start of a great uncorking of potential that could sustain the regional economy long after the nuclear plant goes dark. Christie is not the only believer. Rencheck has been talking to suppliers, local politicians, and planners about his belief for years. It is a paradise here. The water is crystal clear. The reactor life extension program won't last forever, so there needs to be the conviction that the region can build for the immediate boom. More housing, a new school, hospital expansions, new bridges, roads, sewers, and more and more. And imagine what life could look like beyond it. As I look at it, we are starting to spin up. And I think the I believe button has been pressed, Rencheck said. The chief executive has certainly pressed it in his personal life. In theory, the American-born boss could have done his job in a sleepy corner of Ontario on a fly-in basis. He was Deputy Chief Operating Officer of French nuclear power, Riva SA. Before retiring to Columbus, Ohio, 8 months before coming out of retirement to take the Bruce Power. But instead of commuting, Rencheck and his wife Carol built a house with a view of Lake Huron Last September, they became Canadian